Welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina, inside Reynolds Coliseum. You're watching women's college gymnastics on the ACC network. We've got the matchup many have been waiting for between the NC State Wolfpack and the inaugural season of the Clemson Tigers. Let's take a quick look at where everyone's at in the ACC. You can see right now, NC State is the only team in the conference that is completely undefeated. Come into the conference, tonight's meet, ranked number 2. Clemson just slightly ahead in that number 1 slot. I'm Rachel Garland alongside a former Georgia Gym Dog, Sydney Sneed. And Sydney, what can we expect out of these two just phenomenal programs today?
Well, Rachel, we have the number 1 and the number 2 team in the ACC right now. So it's going to be a head-to-head battle on each event tonight. NC State could clinch the regular season title with a win, though.
Absolutely, and Clemson is actually looking for redemption because NC State won on their home turf just a couple of weeks ago, so I know they are excited to perform back. We're going to take a look at NC State last week in their meet against North Carolina, where they just had a knockout of a meet, 8 career highs for several gymnasts, balance beam coming in with a 49.4, so one of their season highs, one of the best in program history. And that 196.725 mark was their best score of this 2024 campaign, but also it's been the highest score in the ACC so far. We're going to take a look at Emily Shepard, who has just been the performer for this Wolfpack team.
Emily Shepard has just been a star for this NC State team, having now won 3 straight ACC Gymnast of the Week honors. She has an all-around total of a 39.525 in NC State's last outing against North Carolina, which ranks as the 5th highest 4-event score in program history. So she's a 1 of 4 gymnast in NC State history to hit a 39.5 all-around mark.
Absolutely, and the Clemson all-arounder Rebecca Wells, again, another phenomenal gymnast. What can we expect?
She actually was the first gymnast to ever perform a routine for Clemson, so really cool stat there and fun fact. But she's just been such a strong and consistent athlete on this team. You see her getting better each and every competition and every meet, so I'm really excited just to see that grit and power that she brings to competition.
Absolutely. She is the leadoff on both vault and bar, so as these teams go head-to-head, we are going to see her in that first spot for both of these events. We're going to get this competition underway for the NC State Wolfpack. We've got Maddie Hall in the first spot. There you see the lineup on the side of your screen. NC State, a phenomenal mix of freshmen and some up-and-comers, but they've also got their triple threat in 3 graduate students that make up more than half of the routines we're going to see perform.
Starting off with their Yurchenko full. Nicely done, a great way to start this vault lineup. Clean, nice landing, distance from the table. That's going to be a strong score.
Absolutely. We're going to jump back over to the uneven bar. So again, Rebecca Wells is going to be the leadoff for these Clemson Tigers. And we've got a fantastic mix. The Clemson team, again, 6 transfer students that moved over with head coach Amy Smith. So she was the head coach at Utah State for 5 years, and she brought 6 gymnasts with her that were just really excited about building something new. Rebecca, one of the seniors that is a transfer from Utah State. She was their first ever, like you said, the first ever leadoff person, but also the first ever all-around winner in program history.
We saw her do that big Tkachev release move, and now ends with that full twisting double back, a little bit short with her chest down on that landing. So that is going to be a deduction. But again, another strong leadoff performance.
So we'll take a quick look at head coach Amy Smith, again, in the inaugural season for this program. And she said earlier in the season, before taking this job, you know, when do you have the opportunity to be able to start a P5 program? And she has taken it and just absolutely run with it. So Lex Ortega on the vault.
Another Yurchenko full. Good distance on that. They're really going to want to get those landings. That's what Kim Landris was telling us about earlier this week, is just the attention to detail, and the biggest thing are those landings.
We'll take another quick replay. So Lex Ortega, again, one of those graduate students out of Tampa, Florida. Last week, a 9.775 on this event.
You can see really good directionally right behind the table, but again, just that hop backwards that's going to be that deduction.
So back over to the uneven bars, Eve Jackson. There you see, she's actually a redshirt junior from Los Angeles, another one of the transfers from Utah State. You saw her season average there, a little above that 9.8. She went 9.8 last week, so again, a very consistent score for the Tigers.
The judges are really looking for those handstands on top of the bar. Really big Jaeger straight into that bail. I love the height that she got on that. Back up to the high bar with another good handstand. Getting ready for that dismount, another full twisting double back. Holds on to that stick. You could see her chest was leading and she was gripping her toes into the mat.
Absolutely. We're going to take a look at the replay here from Eve Jackson. She is actually number 2 in the conference on this event. I think we can see why.
Wow.
So out of their lineup of 6 gymnasts, 5 of them are in the top 10 in the ACC rankings as it stands. Eve coming in again at that number 2 spot. We're going to move back over to Krista Zoltovich for the Wolfpack on vault.
Really nice Yurchenko full. She held that landing. Looked like she almost hopped in place, so not sure that her feet actually moved backwards, but we'll take another look here on the replay. You can see, nice block off the table.
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with that.
She was gripping her feet into the mat as well to hold that. So love to see the fight on these landings.
Absolutely. Last week she went 9.825, which is one of the career highs for the Wolfpack team. Back over to Clemson, Lily Lippett, a fantastic freshman coming in. She was a former elite gymnast, so she has just made a huge impact on this team.
You can see why she started with that huge Hindorf as her release move into that pack salto, which is very difficult. You don't see many of those in collegiate gymnastics.
And she actually fell on this routine last week, only ended up at a 9.125, but she recorded the first 9.9 in program history. And again, I think we can see exactly why. 2-time ACC Newcomer of the Week.
She finished that routine with a stick.
And she's actually the only one not ranked in the top 10, but I believe because she had that fall last week, it bumped her out a little bit. So Ashley Knight, we had a freshman on bars, we've got a freshman on vault from Greensboro, and Ashley has just, again, stepped into this lineup. She's typically a vault and floor specialist, and her power is unbelievable.
Yeah, her vault, it's one of my favorites to watch by far. You're just going to see the huge block she gets, the height she gets off the table on this front handspring, front pike half.
This is actually the only 10-0 start value in the Wolfpack lineup.
Huge height. Wow. I thought she had that stick. That was so close.
Shuffle of the feet.
You know, and we're watching her in warm-ups, and she's always sticking them. So I'm waiting for that one to hit in competition. This one was pretty close. Notice how high she gets. Wow, it's easy. She drops out of it almost as a stick.
That little shuffle. But since she moved both feet, it'll probably be at least a 10th deduction. Interesting thing is NC State, again, they've got 5 out of 6, only starting from a 9.95, so it already puts them at a slight disadvantage from the Tigers, who have numerous 10.0 start values.
Those tenths do add up at the end of the events and at the end of competition, which could make a difference in your total score.
Caitlin de Guzman currently up for the Tigers.
Notice her toe point throughout the routine. Even throughout the most difficult areas, You just can see her feet are so pointed. Yeah, it's beautiful to watch.
She's actually a transfer from Kentucky, one of the graduate students, career high of a 9.925. And again, the lines and the toe point is gorgeous to watch.
Especially from the judges' angle, you can see them on the sides. They're really looking for those handstands on top of the bar, that really nice form all the way throughout the bar routines. Absolutely.
Guzman actually #1 in the ACC on uneven bars. All right, we'll take our first look at all-arounder Emily Shepard, graduate student out of Kansas.
Nicely done. Yurchenko full. Almost looked like she was a little high on the table, but was still able to get that block off. And again, looked like she stuck it. We'll see again here.
Sometimes with that 4-inch mat, it gives a little bit, so it's an allure of the movement, but
she broke out of that vault, so looks like she did.
Absolutely phenomenal. Again, 3-time ACC Gymnast of the Week, tied for 4th on vault in the rankings. And we'll get our first look at former Wolfpack gymnast Lauren Rutherford, one of the transfers that, again, wanted to be part of this inaugural program.
She's always such a pleasure to watch. Another big release move. Down to that bail to handstand. See if she can get this stuck dismount. Double layout. Wow, she got it.
It's always interesting for the traveling team or the away team, because a lot of times you're going to arenas that you don't know. Rutherford competed in this arena for numerous years, so it's almost like coming back.
Absolutely. You can see in that double layout dismount, nicely done. Really found that landing and was controlled throughout.
All right, Negrete, who is currently ranked #1 on this event. Again, a graduate student out of Frisco, Texas.
We're going to be looking for a stick here. So close, but again, beautifully done. Yurchenko full. All of NC State's vaults, I love just the distance from the table to the landing and the directional. There were no directional issues, and so that is something that the judges notice when scoring. Can see right here, good height, good distance, just the smallest little hop back.
Absolutely, and again, we talked to Coach Landris prior to the meet on what improvements have you been working on. Outside of the amplitude that they're looking at, it's gotta be those landings. When you're already down from 995 start values and you're taking a 10th on each landing, it's such a disadvantage. All right, Trinity Brown for the Tigers. Brown actually took Rutherford's spot last week as she was out a little bit sick and under the weather.
And so far, she's done a great job throughout this routine with that huge shaposh and then another really nicely done double layout. She is pumped about that with that stuck landing.
All right, and we've got one exhibition for the Wolfpack.
Now, that was a half, which is very difficult because it's a blind landing. So it's not the complete full twist, but really nicely done.
Yeah, she did a fantastic job on that. And again, they've got 3 of their gymnasts on most events that are going to be graduating and no longer eligible for competition, and so you've got to start putting people in to give them some of that experience, which is a great opportunity in that exhibition spot. So we've got an exhibition with Clemson as well. I believe this is Dakota Berry, who actually exhibition last week. Again, giving them some experience on the competition floor for when the seniors and the graduate students have to end up moving on.
Absolutely. It's also good to have that exposure as well, because gymnastics season is long and it's really hard on your body. So if you have the ability to have such depth in your lineup where you can switch people in and out per meet, that is such a nice thing to be able to do.
All right, well, that concludes rotation number 1. Again, we've got a strong matchup. You see the score in the bottom right hand of the corner. We're going to take a quick break. We'll flip-flop events and be back in just a few minutes. We've got a fantastic matchup between the Clemson Tigers and the NC State Wolfpack. After rotation number 1, Clemson has a slight edge with that 49-375. A lot of it comes down to those landings. One extra step is going to be the matchup between these two teams. So we've got a good look at Emily Shepard, the graduate student from NC State, a 3-time ACC Gymnast of the Week. And just a phenomenal performer for this Wolfpack team. Again, 2 others from these programs, Lex Ortega and Rebecca Wells, co-specialists of the week based on their performances last weekend. And there we see Cameron Wade, the newcomer of the week for the Tar Heels that competed last night. And stick around for rotation number 2. We'll be back just after the break. Welcome back to Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh, North Carolina. We have a fantastic matchup. You see number 22 Clemson taking on the NC State Wolfpack. These two teams are actually ranked number 1 and number 2 in the ACC conference. And right now, Clemson has that slight edge over the Wolfpack. For rotation number 2, Clemson's going to flip over to vault. NC State's going to continue on in Olympic order, which is vault, bars, beam, and then they will end on the floor exercise. Right now, the gymnasts are finishing up their team touch. Couple of turns over each apparatus. In the rankings right now, NC State on the bars is ranked number 2. Whereas on the vault, Clemson is ranked number 2, and they are flip-flopping back and forth. We'll take a quick look at their head coach, Kim Landers, in her 7th season at the helm of this Wolfpack gymnastics team. Beam is mainly her specialty, so we'll see her aspects coming up. But you see there the 2021 East Atlantic Gymnastic League regular season champions. That's the former conference prior to the ACC getting back together. So again, the first time in 40 years, NC State actually looking for a repeat. They're looking to go back-to-back ACC champions. There's just a 40-year gap in between.
One thing I liked too in talking with her this week was we asked, you guys are on a roll and your team's doing so well. How do you manage that messaging to the team or that so-called pressure? And I loved how she said the messaging is consistent. Every athlete on this team is hungry and we're finding joy in the journey. So I loved the joy in the journey. That was a standout, and I made a note of that. And so really cool to hear just how she explained that to us. And you can see it through the team and how they're performing.
Absolutely. Both teams have just been so fantastic at making sure they've started their momentum and kept that momentum going forward. So again, Rebecca Wells is going to be the leadoff here for the Clemson Tigers on vault. Again, ACC co-specialist of the week. Last week ended with a 9.85 on this event. Multiple 10.0 start values out of this Tiger team.
Which, like you mentioned, is a huge advantage. Really big, wow. Yurchenko full. She nailed that landing.
That is definitely a stuck landing.
Absolutely. What a way to start off this vault lineup. Wow.
We're going to take another look at this. Again, the height, the dynamics, the distance. And there's no more college stick.
That was a cold stick right there. There was no movement going on. So
again, that vault, the Yurchenko full, only worth a 9.95. So the maximum she can get, assuming they take no deductions, is that 9.95. Back over to the uneven bars, Kaylee Adamides for the Wolfpack. She's a bar specialist.
She's been so consistent for this Wolfpack team, leading off bars. You can see that really nice handstand into this double tuck dismount, and another stuck dismount to start off this bar lineup.
Absolutely love it. Last week only went 9.6, which was the score that they were able to drop. Bars was the only event that NC State did not get that 49 or above. So we're going to take another look at this dismount.
She did a great job finding that landing. Looked like she had to pull a little bit more at the end, which just goes to show how well she knew her air sense.
So we'll take a look at Eve Jackson for the Tigers.
Another really big fall. Again, I love that distance from the table to the landing. Almost had that stick, but there's going to be a deduction on that slight hop. Let's take another look. Right here, nice block. It looked like she did break out for that landing, but just couldn't quite get it.
Peyton Childs for the Wolfpack. Again, another bar specialist, just has been such a solid contributor all season. I'm gonna knock on wood, but so far she's hit 6 for 6. Last week she went 9-8 on this event.
I think you might have jinxed her.
I totally jinxed her. I should not have said anything.
Obviously, you hate to see a fall. Just looked like she was a little bit too far away from the bar on that release. Couldn't quite get that grip.
So it puts a little bit of pressure on the rest of the lineup as, again, for those that are newer to the sport, the top 6 gymnasts compete, but only 5 scores are counted, so they can drop the low score, but what they don't want to happen is to have a second fall.
Now getting ready for her dismount, that blind fall into the double tuck. Really good finish on that routine. Again, she's going to be disappointed in the fall.
I'll have to apologize after the meet. So still a strong finish as we get back over to the vault rotation there. You see the points of emphasis as far as what the judges are looking for.
The start value, like we talked about, that 10-0 versus that 9.95. Huge difference than the execution, again, and then those stock landings. Landings, 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 if you take one thing away from gymnastics.
Absolutely. Molly Arnold, the redshirt sophomore from Bloomington, Minnesota.
Wow. She must have heard us saying landings because that was a 1.5, which was a 10-0 start value. And it looked like she stuck it from our angle. That vault is more difficult. Take a look here. She does that extra half twist, found that. Again, it is a blind landing, so very difficult to stick.
I love their facial reactions. She actually made her debut on this event last week and just completely rocked it. So hoping for a repeat today.
It is a lot of pressure, but it's also a good opportunity for this team to bounce back, and it gives you a lot of confidence when the rest of your lineup goes up and hits.
So far, so good. So far, so good. And you see those points of emphasis for the uneven bars that the judges are taking a look at.
She's going to be looking for this stick. Nice job. Way to get them back on track. That's exactly what this NC State team needed.
Absolutely. Debuted with a 9.725.
take another look here. Look at the height on that double back, full twisting double back into that stuck dismount.
Madison Minner, the junior out of South Carolina. She actually trained at the club where Clemson was training while their facility was being built and ended up on the team.
Unfortunately, couldn't get enough power or rotation. She did a tuck 1.5, so a little bit different than what we typically see, and it just looked like she was short of power. You can see here, she doesn't get quite enough height off the table, and so she did not have enough rotation.
Yeah, that block angle on the table looked a little bit off. So again, one fall per team on this second rotation. So both of them now kind of looking to get back into it. Katie Harper for the Wolfpack. See the freshman out of Columbus, Ohio, just super strong in the bar lineup. Harper just outside of the top 10 in the ACC rankings and coming in at number 11.
She's going to start this routine with a clear hip into a Ginger release move. Really nice. Back down to that low bar for that bail to handstand. She can get a handstand right here and a stuck dismount. It's going to be a good score. Nice double out. Wow. I think that was a stick. It looked like her feet wanted to move, but she held on to it.
We'll take a quick look back at this bar routine.
You can see that clear hip into that nice high release move. The judges want to see when you release that it is higher than the bar. That is something that they're looking at. And then that nice position in the air on that double layout.
Fantastic routine. And just a crunched landing. That was Maggie Holman for the Tigers.
Looked like her block just wasn't enough right there. She had the height, but didn't quite twist quick enough. So unfortunately, they're gonna have to count a fall.
Absolutely, and I hope her ankles are okay, because that was a landing, and then she is also set to be in the floor lineup, which is again another hard landing. So we'll see. We'll keep our eye on that as it comes in. Absolutely gorgeous routine as we get another look at Ortega.
Another really nice release move. Was that Hindorf that we talked about earlier in the broadcast. She goes down to low bar, right back up to high bar. Looking for a stuck dismount here. Nice double layout. Almost had it, but great save and a good routine for NC State.
Absolutely. Last week went 9-8 on her bar routine. A career high of a 9-9.
Take a look at that bail to handstand right on top of the bar, and then she goes right back up to the high bar. And then beautiful double layout. I don't think that her legs even came apart on that.
That was a fantastic routine for Ortega. Kind of in and out of the all-around lineup, but very consistent on the bar rotation. So we've got Trinity Brown in the final spot for this Clemson team. And again, she does a solid Yurchenko full with some of that, just the power that she is able to get. Another one of the transfers from Utah State.
Huge height off the table into that full. Deduction on that setback, but again, really big vault.
Absolutely. She actually set her career high on vault in their home opener over Pitt.
Look how high she gets that amplitude off the table. Almost had that stick, but we'll have a deduction on that slight step back.
She could have opened a little bit more on that one, so much power.
She did have so much power. It's a good problem to have.
Definitely. All right, this is 2 for 4 for Shepard. Currently ranked number 4 on this event.
And look how high she gets on that release move. And just the form throughout the routine. The toes pointed. Her legs didn't even come apart on that pack down to the low bar.
Some gymnasts you'll see they have what's built-in deductions where they can't perform the skill without their legs coming apart. But hers are always glued together.
Wow. And a nice stock dismount. That is going to be a huge score right there.
Absolutely. Last week went 9.875 on that routine. Her career high is a 9.925, and I feel like it's going to be pretty close.
I loved just the lines and the handstand. She even had time to sit on top of the bar for a second. Look at this last one. And then how high she gets on that release from the bar into that stick. That's going to be a huge score.
She almost completes that second flip above the high bar, which is just unheard of, and has all that time to spot the landing. So a phenomenal routine out of Shepard.
We can hear some cheering going on by the bars.
So Clemson is done on the vault. They're going to start getting ready for their third rotation. And it's a 9.75, a new career high.
Amazing.
For Shepard.
Which means that one judge did throw a 10. How exciting.
Love it. Absolutely phenomenal routine. I do believe the Wolfpack has one exhibition, and how fun to be able to compete after that. I don't know if it's more fun or nerve-wracking.
I think it's more fun from the energy from the crowd, but wow, congrats to Emily Shepard. That is awesome.
So exhibition from Maddie Hall, who is kind of in and out of the lineup on this event. Again, just giving the Wolfpack some depth.
So far, a good routine. Couple form breaks throughout, which, like you said, might be those built-in deductions. But ends with a nice high double tuck. Drops into that landing, no problem.
So a fantastic finish for Emily Shepard and Maddie Hall, closing out rotation number 2. So we're going to take a quick break as the gymnasts get ready for rotation number 3. NC State having the slight edge right now, with Clemson having to compete or to count a fall on the vault apparatus. So on that stick, stay tuned for rotation number 3. We are midway through a matchup between the number 1 and number 2 teams in the ACC conference lineup. And here we've got a quick snippet of just how this program has taken off. You see the inaugural gymnastics season for the Clemson Tigers, and that championship set for Greensboro on March 23rd, where all 4 teams really have a viable take at winning this ACC championship. Right now, NC State, the only team that is undefeated in the current standings, and just posted a program tie for a program record of a 49.5 on the uneven bars, with Emily Shepard a new career high at a 9.975. We're going to highlight in Clemson's inaugural season just the timeline of everything that has taken place. So gymnastics and women's lacrosse are the 2 programs that they announced that they were adding in 2021. So just shows how long it's been in the making. There you see Amy Smith, their head coach, that accepted the position and started April 26th ago almost. And their inaugural signing class, which was so small, but they came in and they trained and they kept at it because they knew and they all wanted to be part of program history. So you see there, January 12, 2024, their first meet at Little John Coliseum, which was, I believe, a sellout. Over 8,000 fans in attendance.
It was, which is just so cool and exciting for the sport, but also for Clemson Gymnastics.
And we'll take a reminiscent rundown through the NC State program. There you see a completely different, Clemson has a new state-of-the-art facility. This is where NC State started back in 1981. And there you see again, NC State, the only currently ranked ACC champions. There was one ACC championship where gymnastics was sponsored and NC State won it. So they are looking at back-to-back championships, technically.
Technically.
Just 40 years in between, and they have won 6 Eagle Conference titles. That East Atlantic Gymnastics League, the prior conference that the Wolfpack was part of. 32 NCAA regional appearances, with several gymnasts making it on to nationals over the last several years. So as the gymnasts finish up their touch, we are moving into the back half. Stay tuned for rotation number 3 in just a couple minutes. Welcome back to the start of the third rotation for NCAA Women's Gymnastics. We have a fantastic meet between NC State and Clemson, where they're both moving to events and they are ranked number 1. So quick meet summary after the first rotation. Clemson led by 1/10, but after the second rotation, Clemson unfortunately had to count a fall on vault, and NC State moved into the lead by just over the amount that fall is. Meg Adler getting the Wolfpack started on beam. Sophomore out of right down the road in Chapel Hill.
Started off the routine with a beautiful back handspring back layout acro series. NC State is really going to want to capitalize off of that bar rotation too. So it's being able to find that balance of, we have so much momentum, but beam is a very calming event. So how to channel that energy the right way.
Absolutely. You get a program high and a new career high out of Shepard with all of that momentum, and then you have to bring it back down for beam, where they actually put up a 49.4 last week.
They will definitely they're going to want to chase that score. And so far, a solid routine, which is exactly what you want from that leadoff spot.
Adler very consistent in this leadoff position. Last week a 9.825, which was a career high for her.
She finishes with that gainer full. Couldn't quite get that landing, but a nice solid routine to start off this lineup. You can see nice gainer full, just had the slightest hop, more like a shift in her feet.
Absolutely. I wish the judges in collegiate could actually judge in quarter tenths, but they can't. So Maggie Holman is going to get started on floor. Again, she took that fall, one of the falls on vault, so I hope her ankles are okay. She did do touch, so I imagine so.
And it's hard to come back from a fall. You know, it's hard mentally. You really have to have that right mindset and just channel all your energy forward to the next event.
Absolutely. She's a freshman from actually just in Raleigh, so she's got a lot of fans here. And again, stepped into this lineup just due to holes left by injury and sickness. We talked to their head coach ahead of time, and she said they have just been getting hit by sickness left and right, has never seen anything like it before. Rutherford's actually not competing on floor today because she's still been a little bit under the weather.
Especially with an event like floor where it's such an endurance type of apparatus. You've got to have full strength. She ends with a Rudy to back layout. So
I typically see a back layout step out, so.
I was just gonna say, you don't see that often.
I wonder if she thought she might go out of bounds and kept her feet together to make sure she stood in. We're gonna take a look at this last pass.
You see that front 1.5, nicely done with that. It did look like she wanted to separate those feet, but kept them together.
As we get our first look at Macy Jennings, a beam specialist for this Wolfpack team.
Things to keep an eye on. Balance beam, point of emphasis. The dance and the acro skills that we see, as well as those connections. That's how you get that 10-0 start value. And the balance.
Again, for those new to watching this sport, not every routine starts from a 10.0. It actually starts from a 9.4. And you have to do things in combination like that in order to get some of those bonus 10s.
And an unfortunate fall. You could see she did that triple series, which is really difficult, that back handspring, back layout. And it looked like on that second back handspring, something was just a little bit off. So again, the balance beam is 4 inches wide. It's a lot harder than it looks. Well, it does look hard, but it's a lot.
Does look hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, even the smallest bit of direction, you know, change can really make or break a routine. And
so unfortunate. She, again, another career high last week, went 9.9 on this event. So that fall worth 5 10s automatically, plus you don't get the bonus for the connection.
Nice side aerial. It is important, though, even if you do have a fall, that you get back up and do the best that you can and pay attention to those particular details, because you never know what score you're going to have to count.
Absolutely. So we're going to take another look at this fall. We'll see if we can kind of figure out. It did look like her foot slipped.
Right there, her back foot just couldn't get on the beam to push off for that back layout. You can see.
Looks like she took off for that layout step out almost from her heel versus her toe.
Right.
So Eve Jackson in the second spot for this Clemson team. Her third and final event for the day.
First tumbling pass, huge tuck pull in. She didn't even have to grab her legs. She had so much power.
And that's really hard to do.
Second tumbling pass, a front tuck through to the double tuck. She is just full of power.
She's only competed on floor twice this season so far. One of those against NC State while they were in Little John Arena, putting up a 9.85 at that meet.
Well, she looked comfortable on this event. Nicely done.
Absolutely. So a great job. Number 1 and number 2 hit routines for the Tigers on rotation number 3. As NC State coming back from a fall is now in the hands of Katie Harper.
This is where NC State really needs to focus.
Harper coming to this event ranks number 9 in the standings. And just a freshman, so she's got a lot of pressure on her.
Her acro series, back handspring, back layout. Little bobble on that, but good save. Nicely done, switch side. Judges are looking for those connections, but also that 180-degree split on any leaps or jumps.
I love how Coach Landers put it when we chatted with her. She said, it's just beam, it's just gymnastics.
Right.
You don't have to make it more complicated. And so she's really going out here and just performing.
Nicely done.
So a phenomenal performance from the freshman coming after a fall on the balance beam. We'll take a couple of looks at some replay here.
Her acro series, again, just a slight bobble on that. But then into this dismount, that tucked front full, slight hop, but again, they're looking for that hit routine to get back on track, and she absolutely delivered on that.
As we move over to Molly Arnold on the floor. Here's some of the things the judges are looking at within these floor routines. The difficulty, so you'll see a lot of that in the leap combinations and these tumbling passes.
Another huge tuck full in.
Arnold, a vault and floor specialist, actually earned a career high of a 9.95 versus NC State in their home arena.
I love that Clemson's showing off just the difficulty in their tumbling passes. Back-to-back full-in routines, which again is an E pass.
So we talk about some of this. The skills in gymnastics are ranked A through E, A being the easiest and E being the hardest.
A nice 2.5 twist, that punch front to end that floor routine. Again, great job.
Yeah, that was a great routine out of Arnold. We're going to take another look at this combination pass that she did at the end. Just a 2-pass routine, but she's able to do that because of the difficulty she has in these tumbling skills.
And one thing the judges do want to see is when you're doing those combination passes, the second skill, the punch skill, should rise up higher. So she was a little bit low if we're getting picky on that punch front. So that might be a slight deduction.
So Lex Ortega on beam for the Wolfpack. Wolfpack ending with their 3 graduate students, starting with Ortega here.
We've talked about this before, but her series is very unique and extremely difficult. She does a back handspring to an anoti that you'll see right here.
If you stare, she does a half turn real quick.
So quick, right there. And wow, great job on that.
Just a little wobble, but pulled it back on.
That switch leap to split jump combination.
It's always hard to do forward movement on the beam because when you put your foot down, you can't see where it's going. And she makes it look so easy.
Absolutely. Into that switch leap, back pike gainer off the end of the beam. NC State's doing a great job picking this back up.
Absolutely. A career high last week of a 9.925 on this event. She did have the one little wobble, so I don't know if it'll be quite that high, but that was a really strong routine out of Ortega. Again, here's that series.
One of my favorite things to watch. Right there, she just does that quick half turn. No skill is easy on the beam, but a frontward skill is definitely not easy because of that blind landing.
And then you jump backwards and twist halfway around and land on your hands. It doesn't make sense in my brain. But we'll get another look at Rebecca Wells for this Tiger team. Again, the all-arounder. So we've got Wells versus Shepard in the all-around today.
They've both been really fun athletes to watch. Getting ready for her first tumbling pass.
Wells last week a 9.9 on this event.
Wow. A nice tucked full in. That's their third one in a row, but also you could just see that nice controlled landing.
Absolutely. Her and Bree Clark, who we'll see next in the fifth spot on this team, had their top scores last week, both at 9.9s.
Ready for this last pass. 1.5 into a double full. No problem there.
Great combination pass.
Really great routine. That's going to be a big score for them.
So she is happy with that one. Again, executed very, very well for this Tiger team, who was down just over a half a point from that, having to count that fall on vault earlier in the meet.
Notice how high she gets right here. Doesn't even really have to grab her legs and stays in bounds. She knew where she was.
She absolutely knew where she was at on that one. So veteran performer there as we move over to the other all-arounder, Emily Shepard for the Wolfpack.
If there's someone that I could count on to go after a fall, it would be Emily Shepard, and then after her, Chloe Negrete.
Absolutely. Last week went 9.9 on this event, which tied her career high. Shepard ranked 5th on beam right now in the ACC rankings.
Her form is just stunning, and the way she dances all the way through her toe point to her fingertips really just makes the biggest difference when watching. Beautifully done back handspring, back layout, acro series.
Just such a solid performer for this Wolfpack team, and she's been such a consistent individual throughout her entire career.
It really does look like she's floating on the beam. She looks just so light with her movements and her acro skills.
And just a list of accolades that you can take a look through her bio. You have to scroll to get through all of the accolades that she's earned.
It would take too long. She would be done with the routine before we were done talking about it.
Absolutely.
Wow, and a nice side aerial to 1.5. I think took the slightest hop on that landing.
I think so. Again, maybe a half 10.
We'll take another look here on this back handspring, back layout. Here's that acro series we were talking about. She looked a little crooked on it, but you wouldn't even be able to tell with how she saved it. And then into that side aerial 1.5. Broke out. I think that was a shift of the feet.
Right on the side of the beam, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. But while they're judging, we are going to take a look at Bree Clark, who again ended up tying on this event with a 9.9 last week with Arnold, who we just saw also posting a 9.9 today.
This is going to be a fun one to watch. Huge double layout. So we had back-to-back full-ins, and now we have a double layout. Another E skill.
Another E skill, and she's actually a beam and floor specialist, so she's been sitting through the first half of this competition, but she gets to make her move literally right now.
What fun choreography.
Some nice nods to the judges there. Last year, Clark had a 9.9 11 times throughout the season and a 9.95 4 times.
You can't help but smile watching this routine. She's having a blast out there.
This is actually her first time competing against the Wolfpack. She was out at their home meet due to a sickness.
And wow, a triple combination pass. She made that look easy.
Absolutely just performing for this audience. Such a fun routine. So Bree Clark wrapping up the 5th spot you saw there. We actually do have quite a few Clemson fans in the audience. We're going to take a look at that last triple combination.
Yeah, this is a unique pass. You see she has a front layout into a punch, front full, into another punch front tuck. So 3 in a row is not as easy as it looks,
what
everyone.
I see on that is bonus, bonus, bonus.
Yes, correct.
All right, and another look at Chloe Negrete, 3 event specialist. So we saw her on vault, and then she'll finish up on beam and floor. Negrete, again, another one of the graduate students for this Wolfpack team.
Beautifully done front aerial into that back handspring combination. She's another athlete that just has impeccable form.
And a very unique style of gymnastics.
You can feel the intensity that she brings in such a good way.
It is, and we'll see it again on her floor routine. You saw Bree Clark there that was very fun and bouncy and playing to the crowd. Negrete is the serious, more controlled, but it's still a phenomenal performance.
It's a really good balance. See if she can get this stuck dismount here, and that's going to be a huge score. Double fall. Almost had it. Slight hop on the dismount.
Absolutely. She went 9.85 last week. I feel like it's probably going to be around the same. I don't think it's going to quite get to her career high of 9.95.
You can see here she does a round off double full dismount. You don't see too many of those in college either. I love that dismount. She does such a great job.
That 1.5 is definitely the more popular one, which is interesting because those front landings are blind.
Right.
But the double full off beam is definitely a tricky skill. So Trinity Brown finishing up this floor rotation. She is a 3-event performer, and she's in the anchor spot on all 3 events that she competes on.
She starts out with the front tuck, and you could see her arms bend on that round off back handspring. It looked like she lost the momentum.
Something, definitely. Maybe we can take a look at the replay once she's completed, but she was supposed to do a double back, so 2 somersaults in the air, meaning she may not end up starting from a 10.0 on this routine.
It is tricky because a lot of gymnasts are really smart about where can I add in bonus or what can I do, but again, that's a full tumbling pass, so I'm not quite sure how you would fit that into a floor routine.
I want to say that's probably 2/10 worth of bonus. It's been a while since I've judged, but double back I think is a D plus the combination, something along those lines. But what is nice is, again, 6 gymnasts compete. They've already had 5 really strong routines. So with as much as I know they wanted this score.
She ends with a nice double tuck, a little bit chest down on that landing. But great job not getting rattled by that first pass, still being able to finish off the routine. A lot of times, you know, it can get in your head, or you might see another fall or a balk. So well done finishing that off. But let's take another look here. This first one, you can see that front tuck, and just looked like she had too much of a squat on that landing for the front tuck, so she couldn't quite get that power into the round off.
Yeah, the timing on that first flip was not correct.
But then finishes nice height on that double pike.
So a strong finish for Brown. Again, that can be the score that they drop. The judges are going to have to do a little bit of work on what they did with that. But while they tabulate, we're going to take a look at Krista Zoltovich exhibitioning for the Wolfpack. She's been in and out of the beam lineup this season.
Beautiful back handspring, back layout, acro series. I loved the height she got on that back layout. Another nice leap combination. I did see some flexed feet on that switch leap into the split jump.
So far, a great routine.
Really solid. Finishes with a round off 1.5. Nice stuck landing. And a solid routine to finish up NC State's beam lineup.
Absolutely, and again, she's been in and out of the lineup about 50% of the time. So the nice thing about exhibitioning is it's keeping her in that competitive aspect where we may still need her on beam at some point throughout this season. The Wolfpack team can put her in at any point. So that concludes rotation number 3. As we have number 1 and number 2 in the ACC conference. Wrapping up this gymnastics meet, NC State's going to move to floor, Clemson to beam. Stay tuned for the final rotation. Welcome back to rotation number 4. After the third rotation, you can see NC State has the narrow edge over the Clemson Tigers by 7/10. Posting a program record on the uneven bars and just barely missing their 49.4 mark that they hit last week on beam. And Sydney, tell us a little bit, just highlights of what we've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both teams have really done a great job. We've seen mistakes here and there, but they didn't let it affect them, and they bounced back from those, have had strong performances since. We saw NC State program record on bars. They took that energy and momentum over to beam, and now they're going to end with an exclamation mark on floor. Clemson has a chance as well to bounce back. We saw a fall from them earlier on, but again, really impressive to be able to have a strong ending on balance beam.
Absolutely, and we've got 2 fantastic all-around that are competing today, Emily Shepard and Rebecca Wells. We're going to take a look at both of them and what they've been able to accomplish so far today.
Absolutely. Take a look, just starting off this event with a huge, full, nice landing right into bars where she got a career high of a 9.975. And you can see why, again, the height on that dismount into the stuck landing. Huge smile on her face, and then brought it right over to the balance beam where she looked confident as ever.
So again, the all-arounder for the Tiger team. Right now, these 2 going head-to-head. Rebecca Wells, again, similar performances.
She's been so much fun to watch as well. Just such a strong leader in all aspects, in all events that she's competed on tonight. Take a look at just how confident she looks in those landings. She's controlled in her gymnastics. And again, the power that she brings to this Clemson gymnastics team is just incredible.
So So again, a great competition so far between these two teams as we move into the fourth rotation. Don't go anywhere. You are not going to want to miss NC State finishing on floor.
We're on tonight, under spotlights, just might take flight. We shine like stars. We shine like stars.
Make sure you turn in next weekend for Pitt versus NC State at 4 p.m. on the ACC network. We've got the ACC Championship coming up March 23rd in Greensboro. Neutral site, and again, the first time the ACC has sponsored gymnastics in 40 years. We are ready for rotation number 4 in this battle between the top two teams in the conference so far. You can see NC State leading the way on both vault and bars with the scores that they have put up. With that 148.075, they can actually hit almost a program record this afternoon.
Yeah, they're on track for a 197 total score, which I think is a great spot to be in at this point in the season, and it's what every team's striving for.
Absolutely. Next week, so week 8 is when all of these averages that have been the ranking so far get transitioned into what's called an NQS, or a national qualifying score. So getting some of these bigger scores midway through is going to be huge for a lot of these programs. So NC State going to wrap up on the floor exercise. Clemson on the balance beam. Again, NC State had a fall, but still ended up putting up some huge scores and coming in at a 49.375. So we've got Lily Lippett in the leadoff spot. Again, just a freshman. But as a bars and beam specialist, it's one thing that you can almost come to expect.
The leadoff spot on beam, we've talked about it every single time, but it's probably the hardest spot in all 4 events to be in, is your leadoff on beam. It's just such a pressure event, and it's your make or break event typically, so you've really got to have the right athlete up first.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of people that say the meet doesn't start till you get to beam. So we've got Lily Lippett currently up. She's actually ranked number 3 right now on this event. 2-time ACC Newcomer of the Week. And last week went 9.825.
She starts out the really nice front aerial into that back handspring swing down. Don't see that too often. That switch leap into a regular leap combination there. Really nice side aerial into that switch leap, into that split leap, excuse me. She is really flowing through this routine. She does have a neat dismount. It's a gainer, front full. Wow. I'd say that's an exclamation point to start this lineup.
Just gorgeous. I think we can see why they have her in that leadoff spot. So again, Lily Lippett leading off, ranked number 3 on balance beam in the ACC rankings. Last week putting up a 9.825. As we move over to NC State on the floor, Maddie Hall, that we've seen a couple of times already, getting things started. And again, a great mix of freshmen through graduate students in this floor lineup. So last week, NC State went 49.275. If they go over 49, they will hit that 197 mark.
Like Kim Landreth said, they really just need to do their normal gymnastics. Nothing different from what they've done all season long. Starts off with a really big double tuck.
So freshman lead off on beam. We've got a freshman lead off on floor.
Front handspring Rudy. Another good landing. Getting ready for her last tumbling pass. One and a half into that front layout. Nice solid routine to start off this floor rotation for NC State.
Fantastic routine for Hull. Last week went 9.725. I feel like it's got to be above that. That was a really good routine.
That was nicely done. Really controlled landings too, which is what the judges are looking for.
Let's take a look at a quick replay.
I like the height. Nice position and shape in the air. And then you can see that 1.5 to front layout.
Bree Clark in the second spot.
Huge front tuck into that straddle jump. And that's hard to do, a standing front tuck on the balance beam.
So hard to do.
Nice acro series. Had that bobble.
She actually fell last week, so the wobble will take.
I really like the height she's getting too on her jumps. Her dismount, front full. Wow, another stuck landing. They're pretty contagious, I would say.
Absolutely, such a great routine out of Clark. So they're 2 for 2 so far on a balance beam. They do have about a 7/10 deficit to make up.
You can see it was a little bit off, so that'll be a deduction. But she did a good job saving that and then just nailed this dismount.
Absolutely. Last week only went 9-3. So a great comeback for Clark as we take a look at Ashley Knight on floor.
We saw her earlier with that huge vault. So again, we're going to see some huge tumbling as well.
Definitely, and just a freshman, she's really come out of her shell this season.
Huge front double fold to start the routine.
You see all of her team knows her floor routine. They all know each other's floor routines.
Nice job on that leap combination.
Very unique. She's got that side aerial put in the middle of her routine. She actually prefers to front tumble. And so you have to have one backwards or sideways element in your floor routine. And so that's how she gets around that rule. Because her tumbling is all front tumbling.
Last tumbling pass. Huge. Rudy to that punch back layout. I mean, the height on that was crazy. I think I could have walked underneath.
I agree. You talk about the second skill you wanted to rise. That could not have risen more. Absolutely phenomenal routine with Knight. Let's take another look at that one.
We've got to see that twice. You can see the punch, 1.5 right here, and then look at just the rise.
Her head stays still and her whole body rotates around.
You can see Coach Landris in the background jumping up and down.
She knew it. She knew it. Ashley knew it after that pass too. That smile on her face was huge. But we're going to move back to balance beam. Quinn Cool for the Tigers. Again, another one that's very local, just down the road in Holly Springs. Learned a fun fact about Sydney, actually did gymnastics with Quinn way long ago.
I did. Yeah, she was so much fun to just work out with. Always has a smile on her face. And an unfortunate fall in that triple series. It didn't look like anything crazy happened in the middle of it. Maybe just a little bit off.
Just a little to the side, not enough to hold on. But again, Clemson's had 2 really strong routines. So now this will be the one that they hope they can drop. Similar to NC State, they had the fall at the early part of their lineup as well and ended up doing a very strong beam team. And there you see Ashley Knight's score coming in at 9.9.
Doing a front toss, a little bit off on that. Getting ready for her dismount. Round off 1.5. Another stuck dismount though for this Clemson team. Great job on those landings, but again, an unfortunate fall.
Definitely. So hopefully that's their only one, and then they don't have to count a fall. I know a lot of the coaches talk about going 24 for 24. In reality, you only need to go 20 for 24 as long as there's only 1 fall per event.
Yeah, and you can see here on the replay, it just didn't, maybe her hips were a little bit off, but nothing crazy with the feet positioning. Just, again, it's 4 inches wide, so a little bit off might end up being a lot.
An inch one direction and you're dead center, an inch the wrong direction and you're completely off. So Krista Zoltovich on the floor for the Wolfpack.
Her first pass is one of my favorites to watch, the 2.5 punch front tuck. Huge height on this. Wow, and a good save, because notice how her punch looked a little bit off, so her front tuck was not nearly as high as it usually is. And
in comparing, you saw the first salto on that one was sky high, but it made the second one a little bit lower, as we just saw with Ashley Knight, where the second salto was the one that was higher. And Krista just loves to perform. I love all of her facial expressions. So again, all great shot of the whole team in the background doing the floor routine with her.
Getting ready for her last tumbling pass. Really big double tuck. You can see that lunge. It's a little bit bigger. It's probably going to be a deduction for that.
Absolutely. The judges want a controlled landing. Not that that was out of control, but more out of control than they would like to see.
We'll see here.
Yeah, take another look at this first pass.
Watch how high she gets on that, and then just a little bit off on the punch, but did a really nice job saving it. And then this last pass, you can see another huge double tuck, but something that the judges really want to see is that front foot staying down on the mat.
And then we're going to take our final look at the all-arounder from Clemson today, Rebecca Wells, in the 4th place spot on this beam team.
We saw a similar situation earlier in the competition, but this is going to be a pressure moment for Rebecca Wells coming after a fall.
And you saw the scores that she's gotten throughout the day.
Really difficult leap combination. That handspring back layout acro series. You can see how tight and sharp she was when she finished it.
I love how she just moves through like this is nothing. She's just on a line on the floor versus on a 4-inch wide beam 4 feet in the air.
It's like she's doing it in her sleep. Wow.
I think she does do it in her sleep.
Beautifully done. Round off a double twist dismount. They are on fire with their stuck landings.
Absolutely. We'll take another look at the dismount, but I think this is why Wells is actually ranked #1 on this event, and I think we can clearly see why.
Absolutely. I love just the height she got on that double twist and just nailed it.
Last week went 9.925, so that looks like a very similar performance from what I watched. All right, so we've got Katya Edwards for this Wolfpack team. She actually made her debut last week on this event.
This is really an event where NC State can show off. They have the home crowd. It's packed here tonight. So they really want the fans to get into these routines. She starts off with a huge double pike.
I asked Coach Landris prior to the meet kind of why now, why midway through the season? And she said she's just been working really hard. She's always been in the running but wasn't able to travel and just really kept chipping it away, and it was just the right time. And she came in and put up a 9.85 in her first ever floor routine.
See that front full to front layout. Getting ready for this last tumbling pass. It's going to be a huge, wow, double top. She dropped into that landing. I don't think she could have done it any better.
I don't know that she needed the step on the landing. It is allowed on floor to step into that lunge, but I don't know that she needed it.
Very impressive for a last pass when you're obviously tired, but you could see it didn't even look like it because of the height she got right here.
A lot of people seem gassed on the last pass. She has extra energy.
She literally dropped into it. Well done.
Love it. Absolutely well done for Edwards on floor. So Kylan McCrite, one of the beam specialists for this Tiger team, also a transfer out of Utah State, but this is the only time she's been sitting this entire meet since the Tigers end on beam. Last week put up a 9.825 on this event.
She starts with that handspring back layout acro series. She's so elegant on this event. Just her posture, her toe point.
So far, so good. And again, Clemson trying to make sure that they don't have to count a fall.
That was a good save. That was a tuck full she was doing.
Very difficult skill. Oh.
And unfortunately, just looked like she kept almost spinning after that side aerial. She didn't have a firm lunge.
And a side aerial is really difficult on the beam because you do rotate a half turn throughout the air. And if your hips are not squared, if your shoulders are a little bit off. So unfortunately, Clemson's going to have to count another fall.
Finishes off with that Ginger full. But really unlike Clemson today that we've seen a couple falls.
But they've still got plenty of strong scores. They were hoping for a really good away score just because, again, we talked about that national qualifying score, which everything's going to switch to for the rankings. They will have to count this meet because they've only got 3 home and after today 3 away. But they'll be able to drop it very quickly. So Shepard, there you can see her all-around totals so far. She is just having a day.
I was gonna say I'm blown away by her score so far. I think she might be on track for a career all-around high with a hit floor routine.
Ranks number 4 on this event.
Starting off with a huge double pike.
I think she actually stepped forward on purpose on that one because she was closer to the line.
Yeah, definitely wasn't a power issue.
The judges typically want to see you step backwards, but if that step backwards is going to be out of bounds, then you would definitely much rather step forwards.
She does that front layout into a front full. It was perfectly straight, no problems there.
So glad she came back to take this extra year. And so far just, having probably her best season yet.
Last tumbling pass right here. Huge double tuck. Drops into that landing, and that is Emily Shepard, everyone.
It's really hard to see actually how high those skills are because the camera has to move to keep them in range. When they're doing it right in front of us on the floor, it is up in the rafters.
That is going to be a big score for them on top of a huge night for her.
Absolutely. Last week went 9-9 on floor, career high of a 9.95. Let's take another look at this last tumbling pass, see if we can tell exactly how high it is.
You can see she has so much time to set for that double tuck, drops into it.
And again, the camera has to shift up to keep her in frame, or else she would have gone partially out of frame. So Sierra Church, the freshman for this Clemson Tiger team. Again, another beam specialist. Last week went 9.8. She's only competed on beam 2 times so far this season.
She starts with the back handspring, back layout. Little bit of a balance check on that jump combination. Side aerial into that wolf jump, nicely done. Really going to be looking for a good dismount to end this beam rotation for Clemson. Round off 1.5, and she did that. Wow.
Absolutely. So again, a great ending for Clemson. It's really unfortunate that they had 2 falls on beam and vault today because I can't speak for either coach, but I can probably guess that when you want to win a championship, you want to put up the best team possible and know that you actually won based on that. So really unfortunate. And look at that humongous score. That is a program, like I said, the 2nd straight career high, but that's a program record.
Wow, 39.75.
Just a phenomenal day for Shepard as the graduate student. And we're going to take a last look at Chloe Negrete, another graduate. Negrete currently ranked 5th, just behind Shepard on this event. And these rankings will all change once that NQS score comes out.
First pass is going to be a double pike. Wow, I don't know if she needed a lunge on that.
Probably
not that it was a deduction anyways, but
She was the Eagle Conference co-champion on the floor last year. And she's actually broken NC State's program record for most all-time 9-9 plus scores on floor last year with 16. I'm pretty sure they only have 16 or 17 meets in the season.
Front full in the front layout.
And again, just a different style of gymnastics, but it fits her so well. So the final pass for Negrete.
She's going to end with a double tuck. Wow, and again, I don't know that she needed to take a lunge on that.
Definitely not, but that was a phenomenal routine.
I don't know where the deductions are going to come from.
If Shepard went 9.925, like where else do you go besides it?
I wouldn't be surprised if a judge threw her a 10. I mean, ending the floor lineup.
The crowd and the team want a 10.
Everyone's chanting 10.
They want that 10. Let's see if we can get one. So Negrete, some high fives from all the coaches, hugs and high fives from the teammates. We do have one exhibition on beam for Clemson. So again, a great opportunity to gain some experience. Very cool front toss there in the pike position.
It's a really difficult skill on balance beam.
So just the dismount left for Holman.
Round off a 1.5. Little bit off, so deduction will be on that step.
So a great performance for Holman, and the Clemson Tigers finish up on balance beam with an even 196. So still a really strong score considering they had to count 2 falls at 5/10 each. That would have put them at a 197 as well. So still some work to be done, and I know they're going to go back to the gym and train on that. I'm sure they would have loved a 197, which would have been a new program record for the Tigers. So we've got one exhibition on floor for NC State. Again, graduate student Lex Ortega.
That double L turn, very difficult to do. It's hard to balance.
So I would challenge people to just stand and try to hold your leg at horizontal for like 3 seconds. Your quad is going to cramp up.
Right. Nice 1.5 punch front layout. Getting ready for her last tumbling pass here. Front layout, punch, front fall.
So a great finish for Ortega. And you know what's really hard with this Wolfpack team is they have so much depth that they're able to put in people from the lineup and have them exhibition that typically get 9 A pluses on their floor routine. So a phenomenal job. You see there the NC State score 197.575. So that is definitely, I think that's the second highest score in program history.
Such an incredible job. I mean, both teams have got to be really excited about how they did tonight. There were a couple mistakes, but what a great job finishing out this competition.
And for Emily Shepard, I don't think she could have done a more solid performance just throughout the day.
She did a phenomenal job.
So in the final tonight, NC State takes the win. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with Coach Landris on the other side for some post-meet thoughts and the award ceremony. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to a program second best record of 197.575 as NC State takes the lead through all 4 events. We are floorside with head coach Kim Landris. And Kim, I guess my question to you, so Clemson had a few mistakes, a couple falls on vault, a couple falls on beam. Did you know ahead of time that they were having to count falls? Or if not, how do you keep your team just kind of in their own bubble?
You know, we talked about this was our path today, and we were going to be together, and it was all about us. So I think we just kind of kept with that theme. We did us. We worried about us. The energy was high. The crowd was great, and so this was a gritty performance. I will say this was a tough one because we wanted to be at our best. We wanted to be great, and so they just kept grinding. I'm so proud of them.
Absolutely.
And you have Emily Shepard with a program best all-around score. Just incredible performance tonight. And then you guys with the 197.575. How are you feeling, and what can you say about her performance?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty amazing. I mean, they literally have worked so hard for this moment. It was a total team effort today, and Emily's been a great leader for our program, and she just continues to, show us excellence. But it all steps into what we do in the gym, her leadership along with all of our seniors and super seniors. And so, as I said, from newcomers to veterans, this was a total team effort. Super proud.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the amazing win today. Go celebrate with your team.
Thank you so much.
Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, so for Sydney Sneed and myself, Rachel Garland, our entire ACC network crew, we are going to say so long from Raleigh, but don't go anywhere. Stick around for this award ceremony.
On the uneven bar, with a final score of 9.975 from North Carolina State, Emily. On the balance beam, in first place with a final score of 9.95 from North Carolina State, Emily Shepard. On the floor exercise, in first place with a final score of 9.95 from North Carolina State, Chloe. And now for tonight's all-around results, with a final score of 39.75 from North Carolina State, Emily Shepard. And now fans for tonight's team results. In second place tonight with a final score of 196, Clemson. And finishing first tonight with a final score of 197.575, North Carolina. And ladies and gentlemen, we are thrilled to announce that with tonight's win over Clemson, NC State has claimed the first ACC regular season championship in league's history. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you for attending tonight's meet and cheering on your ACC regular champion,